Welcome to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kerry Stevenson, and today I'm speaking with Damien Keys. He's the Managing Director of Sunshine Gold, or should I say, Sunshine Metals. They've just changed their name. So it's now Sunshine Metals. ASX code stays the same, SHN, and their assets are up in Queensland. These guys have been very busy, but I'm not going to talk to you about it. Damien, welcome to the program. Great to see you.
Thanks, Kerry. Great to be here.
Quick overview of who are Sunshine Metals before we get into the detail.
Yeah, so the name change has recently happened, and to reflect the diverse nature of the portfolio now. So we've recently acquired the Greater Liontown Project, which is in the Ravenswood Charters Towers district, and it fits really nicely with our portfolio. It also came with a 5 million tonne resource, zinc, copper, gold, lead and silver resource to go with it. So we figured the time was right to make the change to Sunshine Metals. So it's we've been around for about 2 years. As you discussed, we are Queensland based and Queensland focused. So we've got a head office in Townsville, one of only a handful of ASX listed companies to be based out of Townsville. We can be out on our projects pretty quickly, out to Ravenswood and Charters Towers in about an hour and a half. And we've got 3 other projects throughout Queensland. The Triumph project, which we've been developing in tandem with Ravenswood, and they're certainly the core focus for Sunshine Metals.
All right. You've also done an acquisition. We'll talk about that in a moment. But what's the focus right now, Damien? Is it Ravenswood or is it Triumph? Or just point me in the direction of what is Sunshine Metals doing right now?
Yeah, well, the acquisition of this Greater Liontown project in the Ravenswood district really consolidates our leaseholding and footprint in the district. And it's the flagship project for the company now. We've in the last 2 years, we've put together a pretty formidable land holding up that way, 1,760 square kilometres of really prospective gold, copper, and obviously now the lead zinc ground. And we've done that for under 4 million cash. And importantly, it does come with that 5 million tonne base metal and gold resource. There's a 50,000 ounce emerging gold resource at Plateau on some ground that we're farming into. So it's the real driver for growth in the company. Having said that, Triumph down towards Gladstone in central Queensland is a project that we've put a substantial amount of drilling into, and we've been able to come up with the initial resource on the Triumph project. It's an area that's been mined since the early 1900s, and we've been the first group to come forward and put a resource on that ground. So 120,000 ounces, shallow resource with plenty of upside potential, and those 2 projects will certainly form a focus going forward. But if I had to weigh it up, I'd say it'd be about an 80-20 split in terms of our effort and focus, 80 being Ravenswood.
Talk to us about this acquisition of the Greater Liontown Project. Who had it before and why was it important for your project? Why did you feel that there was a need to add that to what you already had? Because I have to say, Damien, 1,760 square kilometres is a lot.
Sure is. And there's one thing having real estate, but there's another thing having good real estate. So it was previously owned by Red River Resources. They had their hands full with this ground, but also with Hillgrove and trying to make multiple things work, and ultimately got too much. We saw the ground and the opportunity here in terms of the exploration potential, as well as the resource growth potential. So the resource growth is pretty obvious when we look at Liontown. We've got Liontown and Liontown East, and there's a gap between the 2, and it's purely based on density of drilling. So we're confident we can extend that resource through that gap zone. And the gap has got numbers like 1.75 metres at 50% recoverable zinc equivalent. So this is a really high-grade resource in its own right. What we do like is we're building a portfolio of fantastic exploration targets as well. So there's 2 gold prospects a kilometre to the west of that 5 million tonne Liontown resource called Tiger Town and Cougar Town. And
Sorry.
there's a big cat theme running very strong through this tenure. But at Tiger Town, we've got numbers in existence of 17 metres at just over 3 grams per tonne gold from about 20 metres depth. And we've got another hit just up the track at 40 metres further on. That's 33 metres at 1.95 grams gold from 12 metres. So this is potential to build a nice big shallow gold resource immediately adjacent to our polymetallic resource. We've got a fantastic target at Coronation, which sits 2.5 kilometres north of the historic Highway Reward mine. Now, Highway Reward was 4 million tonnes at 6% copper and a gram gold. So that's bonanza grade in anyone's books. We've got a target 2.5 kilometres up the road where there's been a gravity survey done that shows us we've got these really dense pipes, which we'd infer to be massive sulfide like at Highway. And it's never been drill tested. The pipes have never been drill tested. And there's surface gold to 14 grams per tonne in rock chips over the top. So we're really excited about Tiger Town, Cougar Town, Coronation, the exploration potential in this belt. And I guess the thing when you're mining is you keep getting drawn back to just incrementally extending your resource, and you don't really get the chance to step back and assess the greater portfolio for what it could be. So we'll be growing the resource, and we'll also be stepping out, testing some of these fantastic targets that really just need more love.
Are they? I'm just looking at it, and the area it's in. There are other working mines around this area. What I'd love our audience to understand is this all the same geological structure? Because I mean, you've got, what have you got up there? You've got a couple of mines. You've got Pajingo. You've got Charters Towers up around there. Plus, what's the other one that's up there? Big one that they've just spent a lot of money on.
Biggest one, Ravenswood.
Ravenswood, of course. Duh, brain not go. But what I want to understand is, with those mines, operating mines around you, clearly infrastructure is there. You've got a big land package. Is it all part of the same geological structure? That's what I'm trying to work out.
Oh, well, I'll tone it back. I'll take the geo cut off a bit for a second, but it's a large granite complex. There are differences in the different styles of mineralisation. So the Langer, Liontown, Highway Reward stuff is volcanogenic massive sulfide, VMS. So that's typically laid out on sea floors or in those sort of environments, like the black smokers that you'd find in the Pacific Ocean. So when you find one of those, they typically cluster, and you'll find a string of them, which is evident by having Thalanga and 30 kilometres away having Liontown. So we really like the VMS potential. There's about 2 generations of gold mineralisation in the district as well. So we've got Pachingo, which is a young epithermal style of mineralisation. We've got some of the other mineralisation like the Mount Lations, big breccia pipe gold systems. So there's multiple different styles of mineralisation wrapped into different parts of our tenure. We've also got potential for copper moly porphyry systems, and we've defined one of those, drill defined one of those in great detail at T-Top. And we think in the top 100 metres there, we've got about 6 to 8 million tonnes at 0.3435 copper and around the 0.1% moly. Now that's pretty substantial in terms of molybdenum. Normally people are talking sort of in the 50 to 100 ppm range. We're talking in the 1,000 ppm range for the moly. So we've got a few different styles of mineralisation in that area, but our real focus is certainly on these copper gold systems in particular. We think there's a few of those still to be better defined.
Within this system as well, within this large land holding, it's a prolific district for, as you said, copper, gold, but also base metals. There's a section in there within your gold holding. Haven't you done a joint venture with somebody within that?
Yeah, so part of the 1,760 kilometres is a joint venture with a London-listed group called Rockfire Resources. And we've got a breccia-style gold resource in that ground called Plateau. It's 50,000 ounces at the moment. We see that as having potential to grow as well. So that's certainly one of our focus areas, and I guess it joins our initial Ravenswood holding with this new acquisition at Liontown, and certainly the Rockfire ground sits nicely between, and it also gives us exposure to the rest of that Mount Windsor volcanic belt that's prospective for these VMS systems. So we now have about 80% of the Mount Windsor volcanics within our lease holding. So we've got a really commanding position looking for those copper gold and also zinc copper gold lead systems.
Okay, just if you wouldn't mind just explaining to
I'll
us
peel it. Yeah.
That joint venture with Rockfire, which again, the visualization here, ladies, and I'll try and pop something up for you. But it kind of sits in the middle. Why the joint venture? Why not go along? Did they have it and you said, look, we'll manage it for you? Or how does it work?
Yeah, I guess they'd made a recent acquisition in Greece of a lead zinc system in Greece. We right next door and could see the potential and the advanced prospects on their ground and approached them about an acquisition or joint venture. They didn't want to relinquish the upside potential on the ground fully as well, because it still is very prospective ground. Fantastic guys. Their focus was elsewhere. We're based just up the road and we're obvious managers for the ground, and with a proven track record of getting the job done. We go in, we do the drilling, we do the mapping and sampling, and that was demonstrated, and they showed enough faith in us to get the job done. And yeah, it's been a good relationship today.
So is it a 50-50 joint venture, or have you got
No,
more?
there was no cash outlay to start, and we spent 2.2 million over 3 years to earn us a 75% interest in the project.
Okay.
So we do the work, we earn the equity, is the way the model will work going forward.
Damien, what do you see as the upsides, if you like, with what you're doing? I guess the milestones. It sounds to me it's big. You made the acquisition. There's a lot of work to do, but it's still. Would you consider yourself still very much early exploration, or do you see yourself in the coming months there's going to be some discoveries and some massive milestones achieved?
I think even from the acquisition alone, we've moved from early stage junior to certainly we've moved ourselves up in the pecking order. We've got a substantial resource base behind us already, with obvious areas for resource growth. But importantly, we have got a whole suite of exploration prospects now that come with this, that are we're not working up from scratch, that we know the targets we're chasing, we can be in on the ground and working these targets quickly. So we think the potential we've already jumped up a peg, but we see the potential for takeoff as being enormous. We're really, really excited to get stuck in it. The big cats and Coronation, obviously. So
your market cap at the moment is about 14, 15 mil. And the numbers that you're talking about, the potential is clearly a lot bigger than that. But what you said is there's excitement growing. I guess, Damien, where does this excitement come from, in your opinion? What's the jump?
I guess just to touch on the whole market cap and the value proposition, I guess from a an asset acquisition perspective, we've just acquired a 5 million tonne high grade base metal gold resource. And straight away, if you put that back into a zinc equivalent metal value, we're looking at about $5 per zinc equivalent tonne. And if you relate that to our peers in terms of resource, but explorer / early thoughts on developing, you're looking at groups like Rumble. We've put a large resource down at a quarter of the grade of our resource and are trading around that $40 per zinc equivalent tonne. So
Wow.
the acquisition, so we've picked up a big deposit, certainly cheaply, and the resource is fantastic and underpins our share price, if nothing else. But certainly the exploration potential and what we're about to do has the potential to really throttle this thing up pretty quickly, I think.
All right. You just said, and the potential, what we're about to do. Lay it out on the table, Damien. What
Lay
do
it
you
out.
do? Keep it simple for us, but I want to
All
know
right.
what's the news flow going forward?
Well, I guess the other thing with the acquisition is we inherited 6,000 meters of diamond, a smidge under 6,000 meters of diamond drilling that had been completed by the previous owners but not released. So straight away, that saves us in the order of $1 million to $1.5 million in drilling cost. Really saved us about 3 months of drilling time, and we're working our way through logging and releasing those numbers as we go. So straight away, we've got news flow. Even before this whole deal is finalised and completed, which should be in the next week or so.
Okay.
But straight away, we've had news flow, and we've got numbers out of there, including 8.1 meters at 10.7 grams gold. And this is in the middle of that base metal gold resource. And then there's other numbers where we're demonstrating the high grade copper gold nature of the footwall of that system. So we've got numbers like 4.5 meters, 5 meters at 5 grams per ton gold and 1.6% copper. And 3.7 meters at 6.5% copper and another 0.6 gold. So we've got more of these holes to release. There's about another 8 or 9 holes that are in various stages of logging, sampling, cutting, and assaying. And I think we've got 2 holes to dispatch to the lab, 3 holes maybe left to dispatch. So that news flow will carry on for the next few weeks. But then we're going to be embarking on a new drill campaign, and we are going to step straight out and test Tiger Town, Cougar Town, and Coronation as a matter of priority. So I've said in previous conferences that Coronation is the one that keeps me up at night as a geo.
Why is that? Why is that?
Just the groundwork's all been laid, and now it's a case of drill tests. These gravity high pipes that should be indicative of a massive sulfide body, and hope that massive sulfide contains a fair bit of copper. So,
For those
yeah,
that sorry, Damien, for those that don't understand, when you say this massive sulfide, that's an indication that there's something there. Is that correct?
it's going to be pyrite, chalcopyrite, any of these sort of things that if it's pyrite, it's obviously of no value, but certainly any of the other sulfides would be a massive win. We're 2.5 kilometres north of a system that was incredibly productive in its day at highway reward. So I guess the modern analogue for a highway reward is DeGrussa. So Sandfire mined DeGrussa in WA, same style of mineralisation. And that took them from a junior explorer to a genuine mid-tier producer pretty rapidly and pretty spectacularly. And Coronation has the potential to do the same things for Sunshine Gold.
Is that
So
keeping you up at night because you think that this could be a big discovery? Is that what you're saying about Coronation? And I don't want to put
yeah,
your mouth, but
yeah. Obviously as forward looking as you get, but
yeah,
at the moment it ticks all the boxes you'd want to see. So we've got the right geophysics, we've got the right rocks. The rocks at surface have been sampled and contain gold. We see the right soil geochemistry, and this is where neurology counts. Is that we know we're in a productive part of the belt, and you can tell that from the big hole that's 2.5 kilometres to the south of us.
right.
So we think it ticks all the boxes, and it's now just simply a case of drill testing, and is it there or is it not?
In that drill testing, are you going to be using sort of technology to allow you to get the best chance of the right drilling?
Yeah, well, with all our drilling, Kerry, we collect really good geochemical data. So we certainly see it as a valuable data set. So we'll be doing that, but we'll also assess the potential for downhole geophysical techniques as well. So whatever drilling we do, we're first drilling into this area, and we'll be learning as much as we can about the system. Drilling's an expensive undertaking, so you might as well get as much data back out of it as you can. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're running out of time. I got one question before I ask you the 3 reasons people should sit up and take notice. Damien, you've been around the traps for a while. How excited are you about getting your hands and consolidating this area?
I think from when we first recognised the district, the opportunity to get a little foothold in the district, we've been getting more and more excited about the potential as we've worked through. Certainly, the latest, the 2023 editions in that Rockfire JV, and now with this acquisition of the Greater Liontown leases, we think we've got a fantastic portfolio with amazing targets, and we are genuinely just really excited on a daily basis. The guys are coming in going, have you noticed this? There's a outlying gold head in drilling that's not followed up at, Trooper Creek and all these sort of things. So the more we look, and it's a case of pouring through historic data,
Yeah.
applying new eyes to some of those things. And Queensland really has been underexplored for a long, long time. So this whole district hasn't seen a concerted push at exploration since the late 90s, essentially, when things like Highway Reward were in their prime. So we're keen to be the ones to drive that forward.
Wow. Okay. So Sunshine Metals, watch this space. Just again, last thing is there is within your area, there's plenty of infrastructure, isn't there? But so if people think Queensland, it could be in the middle of nowhere. No, ladies and gentlemen, you've got copper string, you've got power, you've got infrastructure.
Yeah, so copper string is an undertaking. The government have just jumped on board and taken on a $5 billion energy project that basically is an energy corridor between Mount Isa and Townsville, runs through the project area, so there will be access to power. And there's already mains power out to Thalanga anyway. There's a rail line that runs between Townsville and Mount Isa through the tenure. Mount Isa's obviously got a copper smelter, a lead zinc smelter. Townsville's got a zinc refinery and a copper refinery. So we've got major infrastructure around us, 35 kilometres outside of Charters Towers, which is a known historic mining workforce, residential. Infrastructure and access wise, it ticks all the boxes.
All right. I'm going to talk to you again in the near future because there's so much news flow coming out. Let's wrap it up, tie it up in a box, if you like, Damien, and give us 3 reasons they should be sitting up and taking notice of Sunshine Metals right now.
All right. So the 3 reasons would be we've now got a big system, demonstrated big system at Liontown itself. We're talking 5 million tonne of high grade base metal and gold silver resource. In terms of what that equates to on the book, we're looking at in the order of more than 350,000 ounces, about 350,000 ounces of gold in the company at the moment, another 5.5 million ounces of silver on the resource front as well. So big resource base and a big system, and obvious ways to grow that big system. We've got big targets, so the target potential of things like Coronation is potentially a company maker. Tigertown, Cougartown in close proximity to that existing resource. And then we've got the porphyry targets that are advanced in the north and the northeastern part of the lease holding. And finally, I think we're a steal at the price we're at. As I've mentioned, we've picked up this asset very cheaply. Already we're demonstrating the copper gold potential and the footwall of this Liontown system, and the potential for further growth and rapid growth. We're really active and can't wait to get stuck in and keep you informed of all our upcoming wins, Kerry.
Well, congratulations on all the consolidation. It is a big area, but it sounds to me like you're just getting started. We'll look forward to having another chat with you in a couple of months' time. But for now, Damien Keys, Managing Director of Sunshine Metals, thanks for joining me on Making Money Matter.
Thanks, Kerry.